Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lyle Daniels here from with the North American Indigenous Games at the soccer venue. With me I have...
Carlin Hariff. Hello.
Carlin, where are you from?
I'm from Regina.
Born and raised, or?
Just nearby, yeah.
Okay, well, we are at Leibel Field, North American Indigenous Games soccer venue. Just getting started with the team from Manitoba and Northwest Territories. We started a little early, so they're on their way already. So we have, like I said, a couple of not really good teams playing today. It's starting to rain. The second we started our broadcast today, it started raining. So we're going to be trying to play through the rain. The ruling, I think, normally with weather, they'll call it if there's lightning. But,
if there's lightning, yes. And the rule that we follow in Regina, and I believe it comes from FIFA law, is lightning and then a 30-second leeway on the thunder, and if you hear that thunder within that time frame, you have a 30-minute delay of game until the weather clears. So you do the one Mississippi, two Mississippi. Yeah, that kind of thing. That's the rule we play by in Regina now. I'm not sure if that transpires here as well, but it'll definitely be pulled off the field if we see any lightning or anything like that.
All right, so tell me a little bit about in regards to some of the rules with soccer. So we got time-wise, with two halves?
We'll play two 45-minute halves, and they're getting a 10-minute break in between the halves as well. There is a bit of added time at the ref's discretion at the end of each half, and that's typically known as injury time. So if there's a lot of stoppage during play due to injuries, due to fouls, due to substitutions, that kind of thing, they'll usually add a couple of minutes on after the 45.
Is that at the discretion of the ref?
That's at the discretion of the refs, and they have some guidelines in terms of for a substitution, it's 30 seconds, and we're just handed some of the general rules here. So I guess we can go through those if you want to take a look. We are watching here with Access 7 sports coverage of the 2014 North American Indigenous Games. And for those of you watching on Access Communications Channel 7 or 70 in high def, you can tune in every night at 8 p.m. for wrap-up of the show, a wrap-up show featuring highlights of all the games from the day. You can also follow along with the action on Twitter at myaccessca is the handle there on Twitter. Hashtag 2014 NAIG and hashtag only on Access 7 to get in on the online action with the broadcast as well. So as we watch the play here between Manitoba and Northwest Territories, the weather is going to be a factor. It's hard to make clean, crisp passes when it's raining like this, and it's also a little bit windy. So it'll be important for the guys to try to maintain possession, play more of a shorter passing game, and keep it on the ground, keep it out of the wind, because it's just harder to predict the ball and make good long passes with weather conditions like this. We do see Northwest Territories moving it up through the middle of the field, and they find their winger, number 12, who is Dion Norn, on the right side, and now working well with number 14 through the middle there to generate a nice cross. We covered a Manitoba game earlier in the week and noted they do have a smaller bench. It looks like they maybe have some extra bodies here or have some players that recovered from some injuries they experienced in that first game. So it's good to see that they've got their bench back with them for this last game of the tournament. And Northwest Territories is going to have a free kick on the top of the 18, so that's a dangerous position. It's right in the middle of the field. If you can get it up over that wall and on net, the keeper does well to make the save there.
So we were talking a little bit about the weather. The wind is strong coming from the southwest right now at 22 kilometers an hour, and you can hear it. You can hear it. It's raining, but when I see the weather system coming through right now, I also see a little break in the action. So it may be just rain that we're going to get. Kind of cool for the players. Obviously, you want to make it don't want to make it too hot. It must be really really difficult when we got the large amount of humidity and the sun beating down on them. Today it's a little bit more cooler and will be a little bit better for them.
Yeah, playing in the cool temperatures and the rain isn't the worst thing. It's the wind that's probably the biggest factor, and then the rain, you just start to feel uncomfortable. Your boots get wet and all those kinds of things. So we see Manitoba's first corner kick go just out of play there.
But in regards to the weather as well, it can rain all at once because we are indoors and...
Yes, we're cozy in the booth.
Exactly.
So now Northwest Territories will set up for a goal kick. They've got everybody cleared way out of their own end, so we see them play a long pass to the outside. And that can be dangerous if that Manitoba striker had a good break on that ball. It's got to travel a long way to get to that player waiting on the outside. And I would typically like to see my defenders drop back more to the 10-yard line rather than the 25 or 30 and just shorten that pass up.
Because you can also make it a race between another,
That's exactly it.
And who knows who can, who may have some guns on their feet and be able to beat the defense there.
And now a throw in for Manitoba. We see a little bumping that the ref will call for a free kick for Northwest Territories, still on their own end. But we see them all release upfield again. And that's a nice long ball played in towards their striker, but the Manitoba defender gets there first. And now sent up the wing, so we'll see number 12 here try to make a little run and just can't quite get to the ball.
You can really see the wind sort of push the ball.
Yeah, we'll probably see the majority of the game played on this half of the field. It's just hard to get anything switched long into the wind, so. And even if you look at the field of play from where we're sitting, you can see everything, and there's not a single player on the other half of the field if we're looking across. Now they're shifting over a little bit, but for the most part, it'll be played down this sideline. And we see it go out again for another throw-in. That ball is played across the net. The Manitoba defender gets to it first, but it's scooped up by a Northwest Territories player. Bobbled around in the middle a little bit, and here we see a break up the line for Manitoba if he can outrun his defender, which he does well to keep the ball there, and he'll look for another option now. A little inside pass, and they give and go up the line. So have you been taking in a lot of the action from other events, or have you been at the soccer?
Well, I've been commentating. I commentated softball, and I did a little bit of volleyball. Not a little bit, just one game this morning, and I really enjoyed it. It's good. I used to be a volleyball player in high school, which was a long time ago. But at the same time, I never got a chance to see soccer or watch soccer, so this is kind of a treat for me. I'll finally be able to get some of the ruling, too, on some of the intricate sort of rules that come. I don't know how intricate they are. Obviously, it's almost like a great big game of hockey, but you know what I mean? So
it is. There's definitely some intricacies. I'm by no means an expert, but I like the analogy that you make to hockey. I was actually watching a camp yesterday that's run by the Saskatchewan Hockey Association, and watching the drills that they were doing in practice. And I coach a youth soccer team, and there were so many consistencies and similarities in the drills that you teach. And I think it's the same with a lot of sports, basketball probably as well, and any of those team sports where you have key components such as passing and attacking and defending. So here we see another free kick, and I believe that was even a card awarded to the Manitoba player on the foul.
So again, the card, you get 2 chances or 3 strikes and you're out?
It's
two
two strikes and you're out in
Yeah.
soccer. 2 yellows adds up
yellows
to
and
a red.
Okay.
You can also get a straight red. So that could be on your first foul if it was a very dangerous or very late. And it is at the discretion of the refs, but of course they're trained and they have guidelines that they follow and rules that they call. So it goes one or both ways, but now that player, if he does receive a second yellow card, would be removed for the rest of the game. And the keeper steps up to take the free kick, plays it long. It's cleared away by the Northwest Territories, but it looks like there's some debris or something on the field here from some contact. And I'm not sure what that is, but one of the rules of the game is that you are not to have any jewelry, any wristbands, any earrings, even things like bobby pins in your hair. Those are all to be removed. So I'm not sure if it was something like that and it just didn't get noticed prior to the game. We're going to see a little break here for the Manitoba striker, who does well to push past the defender, gets a shot away, but it's saved. And Manitoba does have some players joining the attack now. A hard tackle, and that's a nice little move by the midfielder for the Territories. He's making a nice run up the middle of the field, and a good step by the defender. And a little bit of contact again. It looks like there was probably no intent there, just coming back to play the ball and happened to run over a body first. So we'll see another free kick for Manitoba. Good ball over top of the defenders. One of the rules, of course, that's not unique to soccer, but unique in the way that it's called and played is the offside rule. So on a play like that or a ball like that, the attacking players have to be in line with the defending players. You need to have 2 men between. Now, what's the way they always explain it? Essentially, you have to be the 3rd person away from the net that you're attacking.
Okay.
So typically, we consider the goaltender and 1 defender.
Okay.
But if for some reason your goalie's up at half, it could be 2 defenders that keep you onside. But for a ball like that that's played up over the defensive line, you need to be in line with that defense. As soon as the ball is kicked, then you can start your run onto it.
Okay. And then, of course, the offside rule. I remember playing soccer when I was a kid, and the ball obviously needs to be ahead of the players, all the players, while making a charge towards the net. And is there a specific place on the field that starts to count?
It starts at half.
Okay. So
yeah.
So half is like the blue line in hockey.
Correct.
When it comes to.
You're welcome. Keep talking.
All right, we got some exciting action happening in front of the Northwest Territories goal.
So this is number 7 for the Northwest Territories. Cole Clark, that was with a couple nice moves through the middle of the field. And the keeper does really well to challenge. That was a 3-on-1 attack for Manitoba, so he stepped up and sort of became a second defender and was able to clear the ball away.
So far, if I'm able to analyze the play so far, it seems like Manitoba seems to be a little bit somewhat dominating with a few more chances and opportunities.
Yeah, I definitely think they've had more dangerous chances. When the Territories has possession of the ball, they do move it well, but it hasn't really generated any really good scoring opportunities yet, aside from the free kick. But we have seen Manitoba on a breakaway, and we've seen them in a 3-on-1 attack situation. So they're looking to strike quickly when they do have possession of the ball. Now we'll see Yukon play it through the middle, back to number 7 again, who's definitely an attack-minded player. with a nice run through the middle, keeps the ball, cuts it back to his support. And just one touch a little bit too far, can't quite get the shot off, but again, he finds a player in support, and he will take the shot from outside of the 18. It goes just wide.
I always get a kick out of watching and listening to the spectators at either soccer or hockey. You know, when the players get close to the goal, you can hear the girls screaming. They just about got close there, and you can hear the girls screaming in the crowd.
Yeah, the
That's
excitement
awesome.
builds.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we'll have to be, well done by the defender to clear that away, because he did have pressure coming.
And that's a little bit of discipline play too. Sometimes, obviously, if you try and get control of the ball, sometimes somebody will be there to take it away. So you want to clear it away from you so they don't make a play on you.
Yeah, and that's a judgment thing as well. It's important to read how much space you have, how fast the attack is coming, because you don't want to just clear the ball away just for the sake of clearing it away. Sometimes it's your only option, or you're going to be stuck in the back end with it. But it's nice to see players, and you do see even at this age and even at younger ages, depending on their experience levels, but you see kids starting to make decisions and assess the situation and, oh, do I have time to take an extra touch and make a pass rather than just kicking it for my teammate to chase. That is a really nice ball dropped in through a gap in the middle.
Oh.
And the shot's played just wide.
It's one of those things where open net, and you think it's a pretty darn big net.
It's a pretty big net. We're going to get a replay here. So that's a nice free kick taken to play right into the gap between the defenders. The attacker did well. Oh, replay didn't come through. Attacker did well to stay onside, so he stayed in line with the defenders.
Made a nice move, too.
And then made a nice move. Yeah, too bad that went wide, because that was a really great opportunity. And that's one of the times I'm talking about decision making, is you see a player take a touch around the defender instead of just kicking it away. And again, we're going to have a Manitoba attack here. And it will end in a goal. It was a bit of a 2-on-1 situation again.
Didn't seem like there was much of a defense there at all. And,
no, they were a little bit slow to catch up and get back.
So you see the tired Northwest Territories guys over still by center field there, and the defense sort of left behind a bit. Give us a score of 1-0 for Team Manitoba, playing against Northwest Territories. I'm going to run down a few of the players. People will be able to watch this particular game, and I wanted to make sure people know some of the players for Team Manitoba who just scored and making it 1-0 for Manitoba. Number 2, we got Carlito Constant. Number 3 is Darian Flett. Number 4 is Austin Montour. Number 5 is Messier Constant. Number 7 is Chasen Thompson. Number 8 for Manitoba is Dallas Spence. Number 9 is Joey Bercier. Number 10 is Makoto Bernardo. Number 11 is Leonardo MacArthur. Number 13 is Ryan Slauson. 14, Tristan Hudson. 15, Taylor Brightnose. 17, Brendan Blacksmith. Number 17 is Zygmunt Ballantyne, and number 19 is Jaden Wilson. We have the coach as Claudia Anderson for Team Manitoba. Checking out the Northwest Territories team, we have number 1, Trenton Villebrun, number 2, Johnny Charlie, number 6, Walker Agen. Player number 8 is James Duntra. Number 10, Frederick Betsina. Number 11, Dakota Betsina. Number 12, Dion Norm. Number 13, Frank Betsina. 14, Chais Desjardins. 15, Lloyd Predominus. Number 17, Ethan Cathalog. Number 18, Jacob Boucher. Number 19, Tyson Marlowe. Number 20, Isaac Simon. Number 23, Curtis Lockhart. And player number 7 is Cole Clark. Coaching for Team Northwest Territories is Isaac Eku. Just about 25 and a half minutes left in this first half with 1-0 score. Manitoba ahead of Northwest Territories in under 16 male soccer at Leibel Field.
Northwest Territories is setting up here to take a free kick, and they'll play it long again. Looking for that striker who came back to it but just couldn't bring it down. And it's sent up over the defenders again for the forward to make a run. Just about got to it, but the keeper, you can see he's right to the outside of his crease.
You can really see those offensive guys sort of make a move, and it was like 2 or 3 of them that tend to get way ahead of the defense. And we've got Northwest Territories coming down the side here, which you can almost see the difference in the defense. We got some strong defenders sort of staying close to the Manitoba side, and tough for Northwest Territories to sort of penetrate that line of Manitoba players.
Northwest Territories with a throw now, and even if you take a look at the field right now, you can see everybody from Manitoba's back within behind the ball, except for they have one striker up high. So definitely focus on their defenders and their midfielders dropping back. We can see them just swing the ball here behind the defense, keeping possession. Well, the Territories did have pressure there, and they're forced to use their keeper in a support pass, and he just couldn't control that pass in play. So Northwest Territories will take the corner kick now. This is a long kick into that wind. Not a bad delivery, nobody home, but the Manitoba player takes a couple tries to clear it away and can't.
Big shot from Northwest Territories, blocked in front.
That was a nice shot, and he saw that he had space in front of him to take it away, but the defender just a couple yards off did stand strong in front of it.
It's almost like Manitoba sort of knows the wind, that he's hitting into the wind, so they're kind of up a little bit, and they're able to sort of intercept the corner kick.
Yeah, that's right. They were a little bit shorter on the kick, and unfortunately Territories didn't have anybody in that position.
Yep. Little back-to-back action now, and like I said, Manitoba strong enough to be able to defend their side fairly well with a few people.
Well done to just shield the ball out of bounds. So it will be a goal kick for Manitoba. And now we see their midfields disperse out a little bit. You've got players come to the outside. There is quite a gap in that midfield, though, that they'll just have to be conscious if the ball reaches that they have somebody dropping back to it. And there we see which number is that came back into the middle space. So well done to recognize. I'm blind on the best of days, and these yellow jerseys with white numbers just make it.
It makes it really tough.
And through the rain.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm making excuses, but. I'm not sure. Oh, might have. Looks like Manitoba's getting a free kick again, so I'm not sure. The ref obviously saw some contact in there as the ball was played in. That's a great delivery to the far post. The keeper did well to get a first touch on it and push it out of the way of that striker making the run. Oh, and a bit of a mishit there for the midfielder of Manitoba, who just tried to clear it away, and it went more sideways than anything.
Well, and that's what you talk about, taking the little passes, because if you take a big windup, there's always a chance for somebody to be close by and take it away on you.
Yeah.
Even if you nick it, you know what I mean. So.
And they look to dump it over top again.
It's that same play that they're playing consistently, where they dump it into the defensive zone of Northwest Territories, and there's always seems to be a one or two offensive guys close by.
And Northwest Territories just looks to widen the field, but the pass was too far ahead of their winger. So Manitoba will win the throw-in. A long throw, touched first by the Northwest Territories player, who plays it up and through. And that's one of the situations where I think he had a teammate just to his left in the middle of the field that he could have probably made the pass rather than try to force it through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and then there's a quick pass and a little too hard for the offensive Manitoba to catch it. Picked up by the goalie. I haven't even been able to sort of see the draw, see where the standings are in regards to soccer, but these two teams look like a fairly good couple of teams for the under-16 boys.
Nice opportunity generated by Northwest Territories, just with some short passing along the sideline, a cross in, and a shot taken. I checked the standings yesterday, and I actually think these teams were at the bottom of the group.
Is that right?
Yeah. We watched Manitoba take a loss to Saskatchewan on the first day of the tournament. I believe Territories has a tie. But yeah, they are. And so sometimes what happens is you have two teams of a more equal caliber, and then the game looks a bit better back and forth. Yeah. Manitoba definitely looks more composed today than when I watched them play earlier in the week.
Right?
And I think Saskatchewan has a very big, strong, physical, composed team. They're very calm. So I think it just overwhelmed Manitoba a little bit. They did have some injuries happen in that game as well, so I think they got tired. But they look like a different team with definitely a different purpose out here today.
Well, and sometimes it's also psychological because they would never think that Northwest Territories, you know, being in the northern Canada would. You have to think about all the people that they bring from some of the isolated communities to practice. How expensive that is. Sometimes, you know, I was doing softball and they had a softball team that. It was the first time they played together, an actual game, and so you can almost see some inexperience, but at the same time, it looks like they're also well enough to be able to handle themselves.
That's absolutely true, and you can have such talented athletes that just don't have the same opportunities or exposure.
Oh, nice move!
Number 7 again, just some really nice footwork. Gets the shot away, and the Manitoba defense once again dropped back to block it.
Cole Clark, number 7, making his moves for Team Northwest Territories, and still running around there in the defensive zone of Manitoba, kind of causing some havoc in there. Now, of course, then they throw that pass out to...
Yeah, they're just looking for that really quick counter, and it is working. The keeper actually came well outside of his crease to clear that one away.
Almost like 35 yards, so out of his...
that's a long run.
Yeah.
So they're obviously aware, and that's number 14 for Manitoba, Tristan Hudson, who's primarily been leading the charge on those long runs. Territory defense just clears the ball away now, so they'll probably just try to regroup, slow things down. There we go, well won defensively. Unfortunately, now Territories have stepped up, created a bit of gap there for the Manitoba striker to get a shot away. So they'll want to be careful to keep possession now. And we're going to see Cole Clark go on another run.
It's got some jets on him. Oh, and he take a shot, just about pick the corner, but...
Great save again by the Manitoba keeper, and that was... Cole seems to be doing a lot of the setup work. He's making the runs, he's dribbling with the ball a lot, but there he just laid it off to his teammate who is coming in support. And I think it was number 13, Frank Betsina, who was coming in through the midfield, and a really nice shot. Now we see Manitoba sort of setting up the counter. They'll keep it on the sidelines, look for a quick Pass inside and a nice move to get the cross away.
Oh, nice header into the net.
And that's a great header. And that's going to be number 7, Jason Thompson with the finish. But looking at that play, Manitoba had 3 players open in the 6-yard box, basically. So any one of them could have got a touch on that ball.
A little bit standing on their feet. You can see they're kind of...
There we see the replay. So it is Jason Thompson with the finish, but a nice cross from the right side of the field. Yeah, the Territories defenders were just a little bit out of position and a little bit flat-footed and couldn't react to that ball coming in. And the wind seems like it's picking up, or it's gusting pretty bad out there anyway.
I think it's swirling around in here. I remember coming to this field to watch some high school football, and anytime the wind is, it doesn't matter what direction, it still swirls in here. And I was noticing some of the kick. It looks like they're sort of kicking into the wind on the weather channel or the weather app that I have, sort of against it. But in actual fact, because it's swirling, tends to sometimes make it a little bit of an advantage. Oh, a little bit of contact there.
And that's you'll see things like that happen in the game where you're going to be off balance once in a while, and there's going to be contact. So
you don't see it from here, but looking at the kids down there, even though they're under 16, huge kids. Some of these kids are really huge for their age. And
yeah, actually, it always surprises me. We'll scrimmage against U16 boys teams in preparation for a tournament that is in Regina every spring, and they're big and they're fast, and I think, I thought 15-year-olds were still just kids, but they're not.
Kidding, eh?
So Northwest Territories is going to have the corner kick again, played in a little bit short again, but they do have bodies around. Kept in by the defender, number 2 on the far side, and played out to the winger. He's going to have a man on his back. Short pass in is just not handled. And now we've got a foot race here. So a great run by Manitoba.
Oh, nice goal.
And he will put it away.
Took his time.
And I think that's Jaden Wilson. Was that number 19?
It's actually, yeah.
Here we got a couple looks. So again, a really nice run. That long ball sent for him to chase down. Some patient footwork. He saw the keeper coming out to challenge, so he waited until the goaltender had sort of committed one way and was able to go the other way.
The one thing I noticed about that streaking sort of breakaway more than anything is that the offensive guy was able to control the ball well enough to stay ahead of the defense.
And Cole's going to take a shot just wide. Yeah, typically when you're dribbling with the ball, you're not running at full speed, but that doesn't mean that there aren't guys who are just fast enough to get away with it anyway, or that are skilled enough. And especially his first couple of touches were a little bit longer so that he could keep his speed going, touch the ball a little bit farther ahead, and you don't have to slow down as much to dribble.
The more you touch it, too, the more opportunity that the other person has to catch it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was well played. And that makes it 3-0. Just under 12 minutes left to go in the first half of the Northwest Territories versus Manitoba U16 Boys Soccer. Again, Manitoba on a fast break, and we see that one well defended by number 8, James Duntra for the Territories, and it's cleared out the back, so it will go for a Manitoba corner kick. I believe, yes, it is. Again, into the wind, so it's a long kick to play. We'll look to see how they set up. I think we might actually be seeing our first sub coming in for Manitoba now.
A little bit of injury there.
Yeah, that looked like Chase. No, that wasn't number 7. I couldn't see the number of the player who left. Nice clear by the defender to get up and use his head on that.
couple of good moves by the Manitoba offense.
There we go. And now Territories looks to play the ball a bit wide again. You can definitely see the team's strategies. Manitoba we've talked about, and I think all of their goals have come off of quick attacks where they've outnumbered the defenders, or those long balls, really putting them on breakaways.
Yeah.
The Territories, anytime they've built something into a bit of a scoring chance, it has been more worked up the sidelines and through the middle. So a bit more of a passing team, I would say, with the exception of Cole Clark, who clearly looking to dribble when he has the space, but has been involved in some passing sequences as well. So we'll probably play it wide here to support again. They look to play it up the line. Just don't have anybody home to receive that pass.
I think if I was the coach for Northwest Territories, I'd probably give it to number 7, Cole Clark, on a frequent basis as much as you can. He's got some great moves. He's got some great footwork.
No, definitely. You see a lot of teams around the world, even just with the World Cup that just happened. Argentina looks defeated to Messi, right?
Really, eh?
You've got teams that run with systems that are centered around a certain player or players or target man, and when you have somebody who's obviously as talented as Cole is with his footwork, it's nice to incorporate them with the ball. The danger of that becomes, what does the rest of your team do? Are you relying too much on one player?
And wondering whether or not, you don't like to think that deliberate stuff happens, but sometimes it becomes a target for whatever reason. And
yeah, haven't seen any of that here yet today.
Yeah, no choppiness, and it's pretty clean, but definitely dominating by Manitoba.
Yes, and we're going to see them go here again. Better recovery that time by the Territories to have him double teamed, and he turns the ball over. But he drops all the way back to win it again. Now we've got a nice little battle going between the two players. And here we do see Territories making a run up the side. They'll look to cross it in.
Oh.
And the foul is called, so that's going to be a dangerous... Oh, we see a yellow card come out again. So that's the second yellow team against Manitoba.
Oh, so it's actually from by the team that it's sort of against, and then... Or is it by player?
It's by player.
Okay.
So on the ref's little book that he's got there, that he's writing things down, it will have the rosters with all the names and numbers on it. And he'll put a little note beside that particular player that he's had a yellow. Same with goals scored, go on there beside the player. But we do see the Manitoba team maybe being a tad more physical. This is actually a penalty kick that's been awarded.
Yeah, I noticed it was in the boundary of the goal. Oh, nice
and
goal.
then put it away.
Great goal from Northwest Territories.
Very calm, and that's the captain, number 6, Walker Adjun, who took that kick. And we see the replay there.
Kind of faking going left.
Yeah, he almost went right up the middle with the shot, so he's a little bit lucky. Typically, a keeper will make the decision to dive one way or the other. But if he's slow on his dive for whatever reason and you put the ball up the middle like that, he can end up getting a lucky save. So it was a nice, calm shot.
I'm thinking any penalty kick like that is potentially, if it's saved, it's almost, I would think 75% luck.
It's a shooter's advantage, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, probably more 90%, but...
Yeah, you just like to see your shooters usually go more towards the corners. That way, even if the keeper guesses right, he has a harder time getting to it.
So when a penalty kick is happening, the goaltender cannot advance, to cut off the angle or anything.
Correct.
They have to stay in.
He's got to remain on his line.
Oh, right on the line.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that makes it that much more tougher. Obviously opens up the goal.
Yeah, absolutely. But you see people at professional levels miss those still all the time, and it's a lot of focus required.
Yeah.
And a nice ball played over top of the defenders again by Manitoba, but it is called offside.
So just a reminder to people watching myaccess.ca/NAIG. Check out the website. Check out any of the whatever's left in the coverage. We got the North America Indigenous Games closing ceremonies happening I believe 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. Wrapping up, we're almost a day left in the North America Indigenous Games, and by the time you see this broadcast, we're almost on the finishing stages of it. And it's been a great week. I've enjoyed watching our young people. I've been in sport for 15 years, not in it anymore. We got an injury happening with the Northwest Territories right now, so it's a slight break in the action. But the one thing I always pride myself in, and when it comes to Saskatchewan, the need to develop these type of opportunities for our young people. Sport, to me, develops leaders, builds confidence, self-esteem, responsibility, all life skills that will help our young people to make it in the world.
Absolutely. You know, I've been really impressed just with a couple of games that I've been able to watch with the signs of sportsmanship that we've seen between players. I think that you can just see that they're really excited to be here and be a part of something like this and meet kids from all over the country and North America, and I'm sure it's been exciting. Oh, I can't believe he didn't take the shot that time.
You know, he looks like number 7 from Northwest Territories, Cole Clark. Almost looks like too much of a gentleman too. He was a little bit generous to help try and pass it to one of his teammates when he actually could have went all the way there and made at least a kick at it.
Yeah, I thought he had a hole up the middle that he could have either continued to dribble or probably taken the shot a bit sooner, but that comes with experience too.
Yeah.
And confidence. We see another run up the left side for Manitoba. That defender's battling there.
Nice
now
moves.
Doubled, and we'll see another foul. And is this another penalty kick going?
It was in the boundary.
So I guess essentially, and the same both ways, is it's taking away a scoring opportunity. The way that foul was committed was taking away a scoring opportunity. So the ref has decided to reward that opportunity back in the form of a free kick. We see him backing all the players out of the free zone there.
You see the goaltender on the line. You know, he's looking back, making sure he's on the line.
And the assistant referee on the end line there will actually watch and make sure that the keeper doesn't move early. He doesn't, but the shot's placed into the corner.
Kind of looked like he caught him off guard there.
Yeah, but you know, if that first shot that Northwest Territories scored went right up the middle, he would have made the save.
Yeah, sometimes they deke one way and they try to put it up the middle. And
yeah. So that'll make the scoreline 4-1 with just over 2 minutes left to go in the U16 boys game between Northwest Territories and Manitoba. It is Manitoba in the lead. And thank you for watching Access 7 Sports from wherever you are.
Guys, just bug you for a second. We're going to go out of this half with Northwest Territories welcoming to Mosaic Stadium. And as that comes up, you can say, we'll be right back with the second half.
Okay. And Northwest Territories now has possession, has taken the ball down into the corner, but it's well defended, cleared up the line. And again, Manitoba looks to just send it through that gap.
Dump it up, Dump it down on the...
And that's now number 5, Messier Constant with the ball. Keeper again sort of being asked to play an extra defender. And the ball is cleared to the midfield. Now that's one of those plays where you'd like to see him take the extra touch. He tried to send it long and it was just kind of popped up. So a bit of a miscue. He had some time. And that, again, is something that comes with experience, with playing together, with playing against really strong competition. Nice shot from long, handled by the keeper, no problem.
Just under a minute left in the first half of the game between Manitoba, Northwest Territories. We have a score of 4-1 for Team Manitoba on the under 16 soccer at Libel Field. little bit overcast, raining a little bit. No lightning, so we're okay to go ahead. Kind of cooler for the players. Obviously, really tough on the people sitting in the stands, but you know, we got the umbrellas out.
Yeah, there's a few troopers out here still. I think there's still track events going on behind us as well at Douglas Park, so that's not a fun thing to have to be doing in this wind and rain either.
Absolutely. We got an opportunity to watch this on Saturday for people who are interested in checking this out.
A little foul there called against Manitoba, so the Territories will set up with a free kick from about the 30-yard line in their own end. We see him wait for his teammates to push up. He looks to switch it over to the left side of the field, just doesn't quite get there. And the half is called right on the dot, so maybe this weather is speeding the process up more than we thought. We're going to head to commercial break here for halftime and show you the welcoming of the Northwest Territories.
Slow.
Show you the welcoming of the Northwest Territories to Mosaic Stadium last weekend. It's 4-1. Manitoba over Northwest Territories in U16 Boys Soccer action right now from Leibel Field in Regina, Saskatchewan.
Led by a group of Dene drummers. You know, I love those Dene hand drums with the snare on the back. You know, us Cree don't use that snare, not where I'm from anyway. And those snares on the back of those hand drums just add something that is just really cool. So shout out to Team Northwest Territories. They have 241 athletes taking part. So one of the top 10 teams as far as size, I'd have
and
to
I'm
say.
really happy that they were able to get out. There's been some quite bad wildfires up there in their territory. So great to see them here, safe and sound. Now,
the proud Gwich'in Nation.
Yeah, Gwich'in, and coming from the. I've been up there a few times.
Good afternoon. We are back with second half action. Just wanted a nice picture from on top Leibel Field booth here, taking a nice look at the cultural village at the First Nations University, the beautiful site.
And then my home province, Manitoba. They have one of the largest contingents of athletes. 478 athletes.
Yes, and so we are looking at Team Manitoba
Dene people.
at the opening ceremonies. Happened almost a week ago. It was nice that seems so long ago, but at the same time a very, very wonderful day we had with the opening ceremonies. Now we're well into the games, and all the bumps in the road have been cleared, and now we're back at soccer action with Team Manitoba and Northwest Territories. Team Manitoba has taken a 4-1 lead prior to the end of the first half. The weather has cooled off tremendously. We are in a constant rain here. Wind is still very strong from the southwest, and we are continuing our action with great sport action with access cable, Channel 7 in Regina, HD on Channel 70. I've been meaning to ask the access people, because I was looking for the HD channel in Regina Beach. I don't know if we have that much technology out in Regina Beach or not, but
might not have the HD package
it might be just in Regina. But
I'm pretty sure it's available. But yeah, you have to subscribe for those ones. And this is actually Northwest Territories with some pressure early on in the second half. They are down 4-1, but we see a couple of shots on net, a corner kick generated right away. So they obviously had a little pep talk and came out with possession of the ball first thing. We'll see if they can build off of some early chances and put a goal or two away here. And a good win by the defender as well. Dribbles it up inside and then looks to play it back to the width of the field, and it's just intercepted. Once again with the decision making, you always feel that pressure of the next defender coming towards you. One of the things that can really help alleviate that is if your teammates are talking, and we can't always hear everything from up in the booth, but it's important, especially now, for the territories to really be communicating with each other to make sure that the opportunities are taken. And that's nice a great strike from outside of the 18.
Punching it out.
Yeah, the keeper did punch that away for a corner kick, but once again, we see number 7, Cole Clark, dribbling, doing some setup work, and the Territories do well to send a support person into the middle of the field. I think there we see a replay of the shot. Really well struck on target. Keeper had to make a play on it. So while we can't hear, I would hope to think that that player was really calling to Cole and saying, you know, I'm on top, I'm in support, I'm behind you, whatever the case may be, whatever terms they use. And then Cole knows, okay, that's my decision, is I have a person there to use.
It's going to sort of help with his moves that he decides to make. Either he pass it off to him or keep it.
And it takes away some of the pressure of the individual, just in terms of having to assess the entire play of field. If your teammates are feeding you information, you don't have to do quite as much thinking. Now it's Manitoba with possession. They look to play it back. Sneaks past the first defender, but there is somebody else back there to clear it away. And he makes a nice, patient pass up the sideline. Now it's swung in to the center defender, who clears it away ultimately. He was under a bit of pressure, so that's a dangerous pass, but he did well to stay calm and just clear the ball away.
Like I mentioned, the weather out here, rainy, 17 degrees right now. With the actually, they show a little bit of a wind chill. It feels like 15 degrees out there with the wind. No, actually, the wind has moved from southwest, and that's what happens when we get these systems coming in with this humidity that's been going on in and around the Regina area. Rain showers. The wind has now moved it's coming from the northwest, which is sort of favoring Manitoba in the second half. 34 kilometers an hour from the northwest, and actually gusting to 46. And then with the buildings in here, swirling quite a bit around in here, and you can tell the people are huddling close and trying to keep warm in this cooler evening.
Once again, going out for a Northwest Territories throw in. And as we see now, it is up this left side of the, or sorry, I guess this would be the east side of the field again. So that's a bit of a consideration for coaches and players in terms of personnel. In the first half, and that's a cross in off the crossbar, and that's still a live ball. So Territories would be wise to keep this in and look to play it back. And they do play it back across with the wind. Now Manitoba gets the first.
Oh, big shot by Nova Scotia, but Northwest Territories, and the.
That's a really great play again by the Manitoba defender.
Great block.
Territories are kind of calling for a handball on that. It did hit him in the arm when he blocked the shot, but his arm was on his body. It wasn't flailing out around. And here we see he actually had the first touch on the shot that came, or the cross that came in, and hustled over to make the block on the shot as well. And this is going to be a breakaway, a 2-on-1 actually. Well done, keeper. That was a 2-on-1 situation, and he had to come out and challenge, and he absolutely won that ball. See a little smile, I think, on his face there. Or maybe not. Maybe he's just trying to catch his breath.
Took the chance. You almost have to commit to either taking him on or commit to him passing to his partner there.
And now Manitoba's the one with the possession. That's just going to get cleared away for a throw in deep in the end, in the Territories' end. I'm waiting for personnel to shift over there, get into position. Ball's played back down the line to the defender who stepped up. And I think that's going to be another Manitoba throw-in.
We are here watching Manitoba play Northwest Territories 4-1 in the second half. Just under 38 minutes left in the second half. Now, so just going back to the rules, especially on timing, you said 45-minute halves, and is there ever such thing as a mercy in soccer? Like let's say there's a large gap of goals, or there's a shutout.
I've never seen
Okay.
it. That wouldn't be a FIFA rule,
Okay.
so most competitions wouldn't follow it.
They just go the 45 minutes and.
I guess the biggest mercy in that situation might be that the ref doesn't make you play any injury time. But
Okay.
yeah, I know there are different leagues, especially at younger ages, that don't keep score anymore and things like that. And the focus is on building the skills of the game rather than winning.
Yeah.
And it's controversial. People have different opinions about it.
Well, I remember watching little practices of the little tiny guys. They're almost like a little bunch of bees all over the place, you know, just together, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. At the end of the day, when you're 8 years old, you still know if you won or lost, whether or not you keep score. But it does change, I think, the emphasis for coaches too, what you're really looking for from your players in game situations like that.
Yeah.
And Manitoba's going to be on a break up the right side again.
Great defensive cover there by Northwest Territories. Knocks it out of bounds.
Oh, I think I started talking before the Territories had that great shot and I got distracted about player personnel in a game situation like this. When you know weather factors or whatever the case may be is going to force you to play more on one side of the field. It's hard to switch the ball over to the west side of the field into that wind. You see a nice cross there. I remember playing a game in high school when it had to have been 80 miles an hour blowing straight sideways across the field. Like we could barely throw it in on a throw in. It would go in and clear right back out the way it came.
Really?
So for our coaches, the decision was sort of made, well, let's stack a lot of our stronger players over to that side of the field because we know that's where our play is going to be. We want to be able to dominate. So you sometimes will see, and I think we did see that a little bit, where there's players from Manitoba who in their first half were playing on the left side of the field, and now we see them playing on the right side of the field. So they've sort of switched some people back and forth to keep them involved, just knowing that the game's going to be played more in one area.
Mostly caused by the wind and other conditions and so forth.
I would say the wind is the biggest factor in that. I guess the other strategy would be to stack your team on the other side and look for the switch and really counterattack where your opposition might not be expecting it to come from. But the reality is when it's this windy and it's blowing the ball straight one way. So now it's hard to tell which way it's going if it's blowing at all. Looks like it's still coming out of the northwest. Another little foul called there.
Just under 35 minutes left. Second half, 4-1 Manitoba over Northwest Territories. Under 16 boys.
Yeah, the Territories take a page out of Manitoba's book on that one.
Dump it in. Oh, and he had a shot.
This keeper for Manitoba has really been excellent. But that was a well-played ball by the Territories. They looked to chip it over through the gap in the defense. A nice switch and a nice strong shot. And the keeper's just on his toes today.
We'll have that last save here.
Here we're going to see a replay of the last save by the Manitoba keeper coming up. Depending how far back. So you can see where the winger won the ball in the corner, was able to get a cross through to the middle of the net. And a good first-time shot.
Deflected up high, and he was able to snag it out of the air. And coming back into live action, we had the Northwest Territories team kick it out of bounds. Goalie is getting ready to kick it back out.
And there is a bit of a gap right now as Manitoba is a little bit slow to clear out of their end. They basically had two areas to target, and that was their defenders that were close to the net and their forwards that are farther away. But it was territories with the numbers in between, so any ball that dropped into the middle, in theory, the territories would win. And they did, in fact, win and started to make a run upfield, but it's shut down by the stout Manitoba defense again. We're going to see that ball get switched all the way across the field. The keeper again comes out to
nice
make
kick.
a play on it.
And nice
yeah,
save.
And recovers again. He's
Got
playing,
back just in time.
Yeah, he's playing really well too, actually. You'll look at the scoreline, and being that it's 4-1, you wonder where the goals came from or how they were generated. I would say that they weren't primarily any keeper errors. He's made some good saves. He's been playing. This was my favorite term that came out of World Cup, was the sweeper keeper.
Yeah.
Neuer, the keeper for Germany, essentially acted as a fourth or a fifth defender. Was challenging out of his box, was challenging in the air, and this little territories keeper has had to come out quite a ways to shut down some attacks, and this is going to be another one, and we see him out
Almost a foot race
at his 30-yard line and wins it again.
So it almost becomes like a, I don't like using the analogy of hockey, but like a sixth defender pulling the goalie and having another player being a defensive, offensive person from his own area. I'm going to see a throw out by Team Northwest Territories in their own end. Just getting close to center field. I'm just waiting for somebody from Manitoba to dump it and Manitoba making a run for a play towards the goal. That seems to be their obvious play that they usually.
Yeah, it was, and pay a little bit more attention here. They have had some of those runs, I guess, and it has been the keeper stopping them. I was going to say defensively they might have made some adjustments to try to snuff out that attack style, but I think it's really just been the keeper that's been shutting them down so far. I'm waiting to see when that coach from Manitoba gets tired. He's been waving a flag over there the whole game. You could see just by the clips of the opening ceremonies that we saw from last weekend, just the pride to represent your province or your team in an event like this. And, oh, nice through ball.
Oh, just about.
And that's going to go out for a corner. So we see Cole Clark and Walker Adjan working together really well up front, creating another chance. Nice through ball. Keeper, again, cut that angle off right away.
We are just under 29 minutes, second half of the under-16 boys soccer game between Manitoba, Northwest Territories. Kick out by the Northwest Territories, I should say the Manitoba goaltender.
The pace of action has definitely slowed down a little bit in the second half. I would say the Territories are generating more chances than they were in the first, so it's been a bit more back and forth. But I actually feel like the ref is just not letting a lot play, so it's been very stop and go. We've seen a lot of free kicks, plus a lot of throw-ins. Another nice ball delivered in, looking for the far post. A scoring chance, and the shot was just not struck very hard.
Yeah, I can tell it was a scoring chance because you can hear the girls screaming amongst the spectators here and looking for a goal.
Yeah. But Yukon once again, or Yukon, why do I keep calling them that?
I know, I just had Nova Scotia earlier too. You know, there's so many teams. You know, that's what I like about the North American Indigenous Games. We get confused because, you know, there's 26 regions with the North American Indigenous Games, 13 in Canada, 13 in the United States, but when it comes to the United States, we have. It's not even a team where it's by region because they actually represent their state usually. So you got Team Colorado, Team Wisconsin, and even though region-wise they are sort of lumped with 3 states together as a region, they come in as a team. So they actually will compete by team. So it'll be Team Colorado, Team Wisconsin, Team California, and Team Florida. Those are most of the teams that are coming from the United States. And then of course you got the territories and the provinces in Canada. The one thing I always like to make clarify for people who are watching the North American Indigenous Games, we have Eastern Door in the north, and a lot of people don't understand sort of where that team comes from. They are within the boundaries of Quebec. And so it's the Mohawks. The Mohawk people in Eastern Canada have always been seen as the keepers of the Eastern Door, and that door being the St. Lawrence Seaway, St. Lawrence River. And so you have the Mohawk people both in sort of the New York State and part of the southern part of Quebec.
So it's a very historical name that they've been able to represent here.
Absolutely, and so it's Eastern Door and North, meaning the Quebec Cree, the northern Cree of Quebec that make up the team of Eastern Door in the North. So if you're going to be commentating or watching any action on Access Cable and or live, Eastern Door in the North is within the boundaries of Quebec.
Okay.
I actually just got back from badminton and was handing out medals at the badminton, and actually I was surprised to see the EDN team have actually Quebec on their back, which, you know, they're sort of politics that happen,
Sure,
I like the fact that the Mohawks they are seen as the keepers of the Eastern Door, and so the relationship between government is a little skewed, but at the same time we have to respect that autonomy when it comes to the North American Indigenous Games. That's the way they want to be known as, and so that's why they sort of came up with their own custom name based on where they live and who they represent. We got a long kick coming from the goaltender from Manitoba. I also noticed the goaltender always wears a different color than all the players a lot of times.
Yes.
What's the reason behind that?
It's primarily so that you can identify them as separate. Obviously, they have some different rules and guidelines. As a goaltender, you can use your hands. Fouls are called a little bit differently.
So it may stop a ref from of calling a handball if they obviously know it's a goaltender based on the fact that he's wearing different gear as a goaltender. Well, that makes sense.
And typically, I think they're both. Oh yeah, so you can also see the goaltenders are wearing different colors than each other, and there are uniform rules that mandate that goaltenders cannot match each other as well. So I think that's why we see the penny thrown on here, because they probably both had black alternates.
Oh, I see. And sometimes they use a combination of their home and away. They sort of switch it up as goaltenders, sort of being opposite of their competitor or their co-players.
I don't know. I've always thought goaltenders must be a little bit crazy anyway. So I think for them, they can.
They want to protest. They want to be rebels and so forth.
Yeah, so they can choose a color or a jersey or
just
something
to be different.
that's We still see territories here pushing a little bit, trying to generate some opportunities, and they have had a couple in the last few minutes where they're moving the ball forward and just not quite connecting on their shots. And that's going to go out for a corner kick. I believe the defender got his foot on that.
Yep.
So again, another opportunity for them to put something into the box. Now, one thing that I'm seeing here with the territories right now is they've maintained the integrity of their defensive line. Number 8, who is James Duntra, he just joined the attack, but we see 3 territory defenders staying at home. And at this point, I think it's okay that they can probably start taking some risks and maybe sending an extra guy into the attack, maybe sending somebody for a short ball, just switch it up and try to have a bit of extra attacking power. Now we see all 4 of them have retreated back to their half again, so It'll be up to the midfielders to win that ball. And
there's that dump into...
Yeah, the chase. And he realizes he can't get there, so save a little bit of leg and back off. But he wins the ball anyway on sort of a miffed pass.
Yeah. You need to be a little bit more centered on kicking the ball a lot of times when it's wet as well, or is it a little bit more just you can still get a good foot on the ball when you're kicking with a wet ball?
Yeah, no, the ball doesn't react too much differently. It skips a little bit off the turf sometimes, depending what field you're playing or what type of surface you're playing on. The turf here at Libel is really nice. It's pretty consistent across weather. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue for them. Nice little ball up the outside to number 12, who's going to play it back in across. That's a nice cross in, just nobody at home on top of the box for it. But again, a good opportunity generated. Now we see Cole take a little bump in the back there. He's going to win the free kick on the side. So we'll look how they set up. Not too many people. There we go. Now they're going to settle into the box. So you can see he's probably trying to play something long just outside of the top of the 6.
Oh, that's a solid shot. It almost looked like it was almost on the throat.
Yeah, it might have been a little bit on the face, but the defender there did a exact... as we see a chance coming down the other way. And again, the keeper came out and challenged it, but I think that shot was just put wide, and you can see the player from Manitoba a little bit disappointed that he missed that opportunity, but... Again, the keeper for the Territories coming out and acting as a defender. Going back to that last clear by the Manitoba defender, a little bit awkward. It might have caught him in the chin or in the face a little bit. But so many times you see kids who are scared to go towards the ball in a situation like that. And it causes scoring chances, and lots of times it causes goals. If you're not first to it when you have the opportunity, you don't know who will get there before you do. So
and sometimes they can do a fake like they're going to kick it, and so they'll make them react and then make them move around them. And I could see that.
Yeah. So for him to just step forward to the ball, not be scared, take the hit.
Yeah, you can actually we were able to hear it.
Yeah,
from
we
here.
could hear that one. If we had a sideline camera replay on that one, you would hear the thud hits of the game. And I think that was an illegal throw there by the Territories. So just a little bit of lack of focus. And that's something that, at the end of the long week and it's raining and they're cold and they're losing, it's something that happens. It's one of my biggest pet peeves. And when I'm coaching, I think it's really important to just focus on maintaining the little technicalities of the game. A throw-in's a pretty simple thing. So you like to see your players be consistent throughout a game with something like that. So we're going to see another Manitoba goal kick. Taken to the keeper's right and played out towards the sideline. Good first touch, and then just forced the pass up a little bit. Popped up and out of bounds. So now we'll have the defender for the Territories step up and take that throw. And it's met by the Manitoba defender. Although a midfielder collects it, clears it, finds number 6, who is then able to turn and chip it over. And a little foot battle going on. Cole Clark just looked a little off balance that whole time, maybe wasn't expecting the pass. You can see Manitoba again is trying to look to play that through and that over, and there's going to be a dangerous play for sure. We'll see Manitoba win the free kick.
He's kind of laughing, almost like he was clipped in the head there.
Oh. And the ball rolls away. Yeah, the pace has felt a little bit slow here. Just lots of stops. It's always more exciting when teams are scoring goals as well, which we haven't seen in this half, but there have been some chances and some good ball movement at times. And then it just seems to be snuffed out by a throw-in or a foul being called. The keeper punts that one up past half, looking to drop it into the midfielder. It's actually a defender who gathers it up for the Territories, plays it to his wing. And the winger looks to make a run up the right side. He's got a defender on his shoulder, but he's keeping the ball. He does get a cross away. It goes just out of play with the back line, so we'll have a goal kick for Manitoba.
We are at the soccer venue, Leibel Field in Regina, Saskatchewan at the North American Indigenous Games 2014. Soccer action, under 16 boys soccer between Manitoba and Team Northwest Territories. Defender there just tried to kick it out, but sort of missed it.
That was a good look for the Northwest Territories again. That ball through to their target man, it was just a little bit off, so he couldn't get a foot on it. Gathered up by the keeper, played out long past half. It's going to be brought down by number 2 for Manitoba, Carlito Constant. And again, controlled on the...
Yeah, a little bit back and forth here happening with... And quickly, Northwest Territories comes and kicks it out.
That was between Carlito and Messier Constant, so I wonder if there's any relation there between the two, a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
Know how each other play and used to that.
Territories with a throw deep in their own end. They're going to look to play it up the line. It's cleared back in by the Manitoba defenders, so we'll redo. Now we've got an extra ball being played in. So I don't know if that one they're using is damaged or if they just keep rolling too far. So instead of chasing, we'll have a couple on standby. But either way, here we go. And that throw is called illegal as well. So there's a couple basic rules that the refs are going to look for on throw-ins. One is that you're extending your arms from right behind your head forward. So you can't chest pass, essentially.
Yeah.
The second rule is that your feet remain planted on your follow-through. So you can lift your heel, but both toes have to still be touching the ground.
Oh, I see.
So if you're following through and you're raising your back foot like a baseball pitcher, they'll get called. Or you're jumping.
You're giving a little bit more sort of leverage to the throw to make it go further.
Yeah, so on that last one that was called, we did see his foot raised on the follow-through. And now Manitoba has a free kick in a fairly dangerous place. We'll see what foot Messier takes this kick with, and it is his left. Good delivery. And a nice save by the keeper. That was Chasen Thompson who got up to get a header on. A nice ball to the far post. Nice and high. Kept in by the Manitoba defender. And a shot was had. It went just wide. We're going to see a replay here of that cross that came in that was headed back, and the keeper had to make another good save just to almost scoop or paw that ball out of the top corner. So now we see Manitoba picking up a bit of momentum again, it seems, for the last couple of minutes.
Oh, nice kick.
Yeah, a nice hard shot.
Not only do you got to watch those hard shots, sometimes there's a little spin on the ball where it could react even after it touches the goaltender, right?
And it can get slippery when you're trying to catch it and use your hands. It can be a challenge in the rain. Yeah. We see the keeper from Manitoba come out to the top of his crease and scoop that one up. But we're starting to look a little tired. Guys aren't recovering back quite as fast. And now we're going to see Manitoba, not quite get through. So some good individual defending to shut down an attack because Manitoba had probably 3 players in position to move forward with that ball. Should it have gotten through? Some good footwork on the outside there by number 14 for the Northwest Territories. Why can't I find him on here?
So did that foul happen within the...
Looks like we're going to see another penalty shot. Nope. Yeah, we're switching the ball out, so that one must be getting a little bit flat. Or if there's some damage done to it. So we are going to see number 6 line up for another penalty shot. Again, you see the assistant referee on the end line, and she'll be watching the keeper to make sure he doesn't move prematurely. And there we see that shot is put just high. So big net should be shooter's advantage, but you still have to be able to perform.
What's the usual coaching plan when it comes to penalty kicks? You want to keep it on the ground, or some people just like to wind up and windmill it as hard as they can?
Yeah, you know, everyone has a different shooting style. So I think you have to be able to recognize your players' strengths. I've coached girls who have a really hard shot and they're able to pick those top corners. Then you want to let them do that. I've seen it backfire and they hit the crossbar, but it happens. If you're more of a placement shooter, I think the most important thing is putting a bit of pace on it. But I think you just have to make sure your players are comfortable, because there's lots of kids who are scared to even take penalty shots because of the pressure. So yeah. I don't think you want to coach them too much on it and then they start to overthink it.
It's one of those things where you just got to keep it simple and have a simple plan, follow through with it. And
yeah, you know how to shoot the ball, go out and do it. That ball's going to go out for a Northwest Territories throw-in. The official missed a touch on that one because it was definitely came off a yellow foot. A little bit more fancy footwork, but can't find the little cheeky little through ball.
You know, I always have, when it comes to soccer play, anybody that is holding up their arms while they're doing things, you know they're up to something. I always notice that.
They're either saying, I didn't do
yeah,
it,
exactly,
I didn't
but
do
they're
it.
still doing it, and they look really guilty of doing something.
Yeah, I think he was almost waiting for the foul to be called against Manitoba, but
yeah, or hoping for it.
Yeah, he
anyway.
was okay. He stood in there. But we do see a free kick here awarded to Manitoba.
Constant rain here at Libel Field for the soccer venue. 4-1 for Manitoba ahead of Northwest Territories. We had a weak kick to the goaltender, and the goaltender kicks it out to center.
Gathered up by Cole Clark, who's been a bright spot for the Territories,
well,
I'd say.
I really like watching him too, because he's got great speed, also great moves, and also a really, really good forward thinker too.
Yeah, he looks to get the cross in there, and it's a little bit high, a little bit too far for any of his teammates to get to, but you can we talked about this earlier. You can just see that there's some really talented athletes here, and I'm sure in other events, which I didn't have a chance to watch any of. But this is an awesome opportunity for kids to experience a big tournament, an event that's televised, just where they might not get showcased in their sport very often. This is a pretty cool thing. So it does look like the Territories have pushed an extra body forward, either that or here we go. We've got the third defender dropping back. Yeah,
perfect example of where the wind's coming from. He kicked it up high and was starting to make its way backwards almost, and
little misjudge on the bounce there. And it's number 6 for Territories who ends up coming out of the little scrum with the ball, but he gets double teamed. Back heel pass to the support. And that's intercepted through the middle. Now we see number 20 calmly lay that ball off.
And nicely covered by the goaltender.
Now we see, looks like another foul being called against Manitoba. Quite a ways away from play. And the ref's giving him a little talking to, so I'm not sure. Oh, a nod and a smile. And Manitoba with possession right now. Sorry, Territories with possession right now in Manitoba's end. Now we'll see Cole Clark with the weak shot away, handled no problem by the keeper. Keeper's playing that ball out to the wide player, but calling for it right away. He's way outside of his box, wanting to get in on the action. Thought he's had a fair bit of action, that he wouldn't be too bored back there, but...
Now explain the officials that are on the sidelines here. They're making calls on who touched it on the way out, and
yeah, primarily they will assist the referee in calling throw-ins, which team they're going for. They will also, they're responsible a lot of times for calling offside. That's their main job, I guess. They can also call other fouls that they see throughout the course of the game. So they're assistant referees, assistant officials, and they do have some duties that they, because of where they're positioned on the field, of course, with the offsides and with the throw-ins especially. Yeah. I believe the primary official, we see a substitution now, and it's the goaltender being switched out for the Territories. So we've got a new body coming into net. And I wonder if we'll see that keeper put on a jersey and maybe join the game as a player.
Well, he might as well. He's been running around as a goaltender.
Well,
and,
he's been
making plays and...
yeah, throw him back there as your last man, and you should be in good shape. I think as hard as it is for kids across the country, in some provinces more than others, and in some, obviously, some more rural communities, some of the more remote locations in Canada, it's hard for youth players to develop and get exposure and have really consistent competition. It's also really, really difficult to develop good goalkeepers. And you might be in a community, and like you've mentioned, a lot of these kids for the team for Northwest Territories had come in from all kinds of crazy faraway places to practice together and to come here together as a team. Well, who knows if they even had a player on the roster who has ever played net before.
Exactly, and
so
being able to pick it up, all the necessary things to be able to be a goaltender.
Yeah.
They need to learn very quickly.
Yeah, so they might have been doing it a little bit by committee too, and they could have had different players in and out of there. And Territories will keep possession through the middle for now. They find their target man, who lays a nice little ball through the two defenders to number 6. And he just can't quite get to it, but it's defended, cleared away for a corner kick. We have 3.5 minutes here to go in the second half of the Northwest Territories versus Manitoba U16 Boys Soccer at the North American Indigenous Games in Regina. It's raining. It's been raining on these kids all afternoon. And we'll see the Territories try to pop another one in and cut the lead down to 2. Good hard cross. Once again, a Manitoba defender goes up fearlessly for that ball.
And that's sort of ruled for another kick then from the...
Yeah,
the corner
because
kick.
it was cleared out the back line, so it'll be another corner kick.
Just looking at the medal standings for the North American Indigenous Games.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh,
they got their goal. Now let's see what the call is here, why they're saying no goal. I don't know what's the official saw down here.
Maybe we can get a replay here. And
there's no such thing as an offside on a goal or on a corner kick, so it wouldn't have been that. Maybe some...
No, it looked like there might have been some interference, but not really with the main person that made the goal.
I don't think that... typically, you would only call a goal off like that if it was goaltender interference. And there was a little bit of a bump on the keeper, but the ball was already over his head. So if that's what the call was for, I'm going to be bold and I'm going to say I disagree with calling that goal off. It was a well-delivered corner kick. It was a nice, strong finish.
It went over everyone and then was able to be
it drops to Cole Clark on the back of the 6, pretty much. He was far post. It was well over the keeper's hands before he was bumped. So I'm not sure if there was something else there that I'm missing that he was calling, but it wouldn't have been offside, and I didn't think that interference qualified. But so that's too bad on a nice little goal by the Territories for that to be called off. So it's still 4-1 here. Defended away again from number 6, so we'll see a Territories throw in. Good control.
Oh.
Another blocked shot. And, crossbar. So we see Territories just keep pressing, keep trying to find chances. That Manitoba defense has been a stout wall back there blocking shots.
Well, he's been, wincing and taking in the shot and being furious about it and taking it for the team. And I think it's hats off to their defense. It seems like it was almost like a wall there that NWT it's been hard to get through.
Mm-hmm. And the shots that they have been able to sneak by or over top, the keeper has done very well with.
Yeah.
That one, had it dropped in, would have been the kind of shot that you think is almost unstoppable. It would have been top corner, just under the bar. Those are very difficult to get to. So it would have been a nice goal. Unfortunately, just a little high and hits that crossbar.
So we are winding down this game between Manitoba and Northwest Territories, allowing a little bit of extra time, I think, if not, just a little bit of extra time. But we are 4-1 Manitoba.
It's going to be another faulty throw, and I think it's on the ref's actually laughing about that one. I think that one was, his foot might have come off, but he was also over the actual line, so... And then another foul, number 6 comes in with a shot to the back of the Manitoba player, so that's called. A nice touch by the attacker there to put it through the defenders, and he made that run onto it, but the keeper, again, which is a new keeper, not the same one as in the first part of the game, but also equally capable of defending that space. And now we see the Territories win that ball off of the Manitoba player. And they find an outside attacker making the run.
Just about made it through.
Takes the shot. It almost sneaks through the keeper's legs. And that's a little bit of that ball being wet and slippery. And now we're going to see their keeper actually go for a little bit of a run, which is bold. We want to shoot that right away. Although they did have 2 defenders back in good position to cover any angles if a shot was taken from long.
Yeah. It's almost like that was planned because they had it covered too.
And that was, and we're going to see another penalty shot here, I think. But that was some nice work by the Territories players. First of all, to make that counterattack happen on the right side to keep the ball in when it was almost out of play on the back line, and a really nice pass back towards the top of the 18 that nobody could connect with, but it was on the ground. It was a nice level pass. That's the kind that if you're a shooter or a midfielder running up onto that ball, you're just licking your lips because that's an easy shot to hit first time. So instead we're going to see number 8 take the penalty shot and puts it wide again, and that's the final whistle. So the game ends here 4-1 for Manitoba over the Northwest Territories.
Could have been a lot closer when you think about it. They had 2 penalty shots for Northwest Territories. We had quite a few scoring chances. But at the same time, Manitoba coming ahead of Northwest Territories 4-1. Carlin, it was a pleasure working with you, and we love doing our volunteer work for Access Cable. We look forward to more action coming from Access Cable in the future, and with the North American Indigenous Games. Thank you for watching from Leibel Field. Manitoba winning over Northwest Territories 4-1 at Leibel.